Good morning, everyone, and thank you for attending the Computrack Solutions Sage 300 6.1 upgrade demo. My name is Stefan Southwell, and on the call we have Mark Hotz and Carol Caliste. Most of you are very familiar with these two as they've worked with you in the past. They will be going through the latest enhancements for your Sage 300 ERP, formerly known as Sage ACPAC. We know your time is valuable, therefore we will be wrapping up at about 10:30. We will also leave some time at the end if you have any questions about what we've shown you. So without any further ado, let me introduce Carol and pass the presentation over to her.
Good morning, everyone. Glad you can join us to explore all the amazing new features of Sage 300 ERP version 6.1. Sage 300 has some valuable enhancements which I will demonstrate to you today. Yourself and other staff members using ACPAC will really appreciate some of these new features. I know some of you have asked me several times for small improvements you would like to see in the program, improvements that would really make your accounting life easier. Features such as reversal of an entire GL batch rather than just one entry, as in previous versions, is now possible in version 6.1. The program name has changed to Sage 300 ERP, and there is a visible, noticeable improvement in the look of the screen. They added the look of the screens are all gray and white shaded in detail lines, so it's easier to find information in ACPAC, and it's a lot easier to enter data entry as well. They added a new feature, Visual Process Flow, at the bottom here, as part of System Manager, which will allow a user to reduce time navigating through your system. Mark will go through this with you in more details at the end. Also, a significant added benefit in System Manager is the improved line pack licenses. So I have 5 line packs now. In previous version, if you open 5 companies, one user opened 5 companies, it will use up the 5 line packs at their desk. Now it's changed. The system will use up 3 line packs. Now the line pack is assigned per user. Therefore, if one person opens 10 databases from their desktop, only 1 license will be used by that user instead of 10. And let me demonstrate. I have the sample company open, and I'm going to open a second company, company 2. And as you can see, I'm still using just 1 line pack as opposed to 2. So that will be a very great change for people with several databases open at the same time or several users. It will free up some of your line packs. There was a major change in fiscal calendar. Individual programs were locks. The change of the individual program locks in the fiscal calendar. The new one, it now lets you lock and unlock fiscal periods separately for each module. And that changed what was back in version 6, but it's change that many clients are very happy about. So now it's a lot easier to lock individual programs. You just toggle the lock switch and toggle it to unlock it. You also have the option of locking by period by toggling. So you can lock individual periods and individual modules with your system. In AR, there are 2 noticeable enhancements in the AR module. Point 1. The first one is in your receipt entries. You have a new field in the receipt entry called deposit date. So now you have the option of entering that date, and that would be the date that you actually made the deposit into your bank. So you have 2 dates, the batch date and the deposit date and the post and, sorry, 3 dates, the post and date. It would help you to reconcile your bank. It would also have information readily available if you just wanted to know exactly what date the funds were deposited into the bank. There's the other enhancement is in your AR customer inquiry. And it's now your documents from AR, you're now able to print order entry invoices directly from AR. In previous versions, you were only able to print an AR invoice. Now you can print an OE invoice. And that just makes it easier to get all the information you can possibly want in the customer in one location. In your GL, new features include 2 new features and improvements. One is the exclusion of inactive accounts for your chart of accounts. So now your chart of accounts report has the option of excluding inactive accounts or not. And the second huge enhancement is you're now able to reverse an entire batch in your GL. Now, in previous version, you had the option of reversing just one entry. So now you have the switches. You can either choose the batch to reverse the entire batch or the entry. It's defaulted to an entry just so you don't make a mistake of reversing an entire batch when you don't want to. And it's really very simple to use. Click on the new batch, put whatever description you'd want to put there, and process. Done. You can go back, and there it is. Really comes in handy if you had a batch, 300 entries that you wanted to reverse and not have all that data entry strokes to enter. There are some changes in inventory control. Two new features, and they're both in periodic physical inventory report screens. Now you do have an option when you print your inventory worksheet to include inactive items or not. And that's really valuable for companies with hundreds and thousands of items that they don't really want to see because they may be inactive and they don't want to have pages and pages of unwanted data. You have that same feature in your inventory reconciliation. Include or not include inactive items. There are a number of changes in OE, great changes in OE. First, now very easy. They've really made the option of copying orders very easy for the users because you can now do it straight from your OE entry screen. Choose any order. Click on File, copy current order, and you can now copy this order to the same customer or to a new customer. You can copy one order or several orders combined into one. And I'll explain this. So I want to copy not only order number 1, I want to copy, let's say, these 3 orders. So now I'm going to copy it to the new customer. And there you have it. All the items from all 3 orders combined into one. Simply create it to create the new order. It will give you a new order number, 67. Hold it. And you can go back to 67. And there you go. Your order all entered. You do have the options to change some of your features in here, and just makes it a lot easier for users to copy orders now. There's an improved comment in the comment entry in your totals, where you had a specific number of characters before. You now have unlimited characters. You can actually cut and copy from Word, Microsoft Word, and paste in here now. If you had huge information regarding an order, and that would be the ideal place to store it. There's a new field besides the on hold. There's your on hold field here. Now there's a new field to actually enter a description of why the order is on hold. And that's, again, that's really useful for the order entry person and manager supervisors as well, so they can go back into the order and get pertinent information. There's another new field, entered by. It says, and it basically picks up, the system picks up whoever entered the order. It picks up that information, entered by, and again, it's very useful for users to see this. Not only is this in order entry, it's also captured in your invoices and your shipments. Those fields are in there as well. And whoever first entered the order, that's the field that's captured. Regardless if it was changed later by someone else, that the entry person will still remain. So that's a very useful field for many companies. Ship to location, number 5. I had so many questions on this from clients. Prior to this, it used to be in the customer tab, and so when you're entering an order and you fast track it, you had to go back to the customer tab to change shipping information, and no one really liked that. So now it's on the same screen. It's a lot easier to get around, faster to do your data entry, and here you are, ship flyer and your tracking number. It's now on the same screen. Okay, so the last module that I'm going to discuss is your RMA. AdPack ERP. I'm going to post this one. AdPack ERP version 6 and previous version, they had a very good return material authorization module, which this new version, Sage 300, has brought to the next level. There are at least 10 valuable enhancements. I know my RMA clients would really be excited about features such as click on detail lines in RMA to print credit notes, order confirmation, vendor returns. For those of you who have no knowledge of the module, Stefan can send you additional information after this webinar, but companies use the return material authorization, RMA module, to record merchandise to be returned, keep track of status of each return, create replacement orders and credit notes in order entry, create returns to vendors in purchase orders, import return authorizations you created in another Sage 300 ERP database or in a non-Sage database. All those things you would use your RMA for. Sage 300 version 6.1, in my opinion. So these are all the new changes, and that's your version 6.1. In my opinion, as a consultant who's out there with you guys for a long time, many years, I would say it's very valuable enhancements are in this version, and companies should take advantage of it. It will reduce the time navigating through your system by using visual process. It will improve productivity by using all the new fields created in most modules, and it will certainly enhance usability with easier to read tables, your shaded lines and whatnot. Thank you for taking the time to join Computrack team today. I now turn you over to Mark, and he will give you a detailed demonstration on visual process flows. Thank you.
Hello everybody, and thank you, Carol. I'm going to demonstrate visual process flows. This is a new feature with Sage ERP 2012. Visual process flows enables users to define the specific steps within a process. It therefore encourages users to follow the correct steps, completing one before moving on to the next. It is especially handy for training new users who aren't familiar with Sage ERP 2012. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just create I have a blank slate here. I'm just going to create a simple process to run AP checks, and I'll show you how easy this is. I've got Mark's processes here, and by the way, each process that you can create, you can assign to specific users. So users would only see the process that you define for them. I'm just going to edit this process. So you get a worksheet here. I'm just going to move these widgets out of the way a little bit. And I'm going to start creating my process to run AP checks. I'm just going to pick a couple of icons for myself. You can pick any icons you want. You can even select clip art or photos. But I'm going to make it simple today. So I'm going to take a printer icon, move it over here, and I'm going to want, let's say, one of these. One of these. Printer, and I'm going to take another printer, and I'll show you what I'm doing here. Then I'm going to put some labels here. And I'm going to type in here, aged AP report, because that's usually the first thing I like to do before I print my checks, just to see who I owe money to. I'm going to center that. Just to make it easy on myself, I'm going to paste that a few times. The next step I like to do is I like to go into control payments and maybe put some invoices on hold. Then I create my payment batch. Then I print checks. And then I like to run the check register. Now, this particular task, I'm going to link it to the age payable report. I'm going to link this one to control payments. I'm going to link this one to create payment batch. Link this one to payment batch list where I can print my checks. And I'm going to link this one to my check register. And then I can pretty it up if I want. I'm just going to draw a line here so that people know which direction to go when they're doing this. You can change the line actually. You can change the look of the line. You can make it a dotted line. You can change the thickness of the line. You can move it back, send it to back so that it doesn't cover up our icons. You can put little arrows there just to make sure the user knows what direction they're going in. And other things you can do, you can, for instance, like put an explanation here or help button. And I'm just going to make a little explanation for myself. This is an explanation of this process. And I'm going to now select an action, because for 21, which is my help icon, I want to show 22, which is my explanation box. As simple as that. Show as a tooltip. I'm done there. And you can even add URLs or emails. So I'm going to just add another little box here and call it Computrack support. I'm going to link that to a URL. And I may just want to change this table heading, call it Mark's AP process. And we can save it. That's as simple as it is. Basically, you click on your icons down the line. You have your age payables, control payments, payment batch, where you can print your checks, and your check register. There's your little help button up there, or your explanation. And if you ever need support, you can click on that, and it's going to take you to our website. So you can do a lot. You can get as fancy as you want. I mean, this was a very simple process, but you can see some of these processes can be very sophisticated. It's totally up to you and your business and what's best for your organization. And that's really all there is to visual process flows. Thanks a lot.
Great. Thanks a lot, Mark and Carol, for demonstrating those new features in Sage 300 ERP. At this time, we will be opening up the phone lines to answer any questions you might have about the improvements that we've shown you today. You can also type in your questions into the chat box below. We have one opening question. One question was, does this upgrade allow you to export to MS Office 2010?
Yes, it does. As a matter of fact, you now have more lines that you can export into. The earlier version of Excel, you were restricted to have 65,000 odd lines, and now it can go to quite a huge number of lines, and the functions work the same way. Not an issue. It allows you to export to Excel.
All right, great. We have another question that came in. Could you please go through the order entry screen and explain the expected delivery date and the Create POs button?
Oh, sure. can you give me back control, Stefan, so I can illustrate that?
Sure, sure.
Okay, in the OE, actually I didn't really say too much about that, but I should. In the OE screen, there's a new deliver by date, and many companies use this as the date the customer would like to have the order, and the expected ship date is the date that the company is able to ship that order. Of course, companies can use these dates for whatever purposes that they require, but these are, well, the deliver by date it's an excellent date to maintain, for companies to maintain their efficiency in shipping out orders. That's it.
All right, great. Any other questions for Mark or Carol on the new improvements? All right, well, since there are no other questions, I guess we'll wrap up the call today. Thank you very much for your time, and if you have any further questions or questions specific to your SAGE system, please feel free to give Mark, Carol, or myself a call. Thank you for joining us, and have a great day, everyone.